Hello DIYers and welcome to the RYOBI workshop. Today I'm going to help you set up and make the most of your 1+ HP plunge saw. In the box you get the saw itself with a 40 tooth 165mm blade, two 70cm guide rails which you'll want to join together, and a material clamp which slides into the track. The first thing you need to do is put the blade in. So you don't have to fight with the sprung mechanism, there's a special setting which locks the saw in place to make the whole process easier. Then simply remove the arbor with this hex wrench. And slide the blade in before refitting the arbor. Next we need to build the track. These two rails here can be loosened with a second hex wrench and then slot into place. Now you'll want this to be perfectly straight, so it's best to use a level or similar straight edge to ensure your assembly is dead on before you tighten them up. Now we want to fit the saw to the track and snug up these dials here to take up any slack out of the connection. But we don't want it to be too tight that it gives us too much resistance. Once you have that just right, we need to marry our saw to the track. The first cut we make along this rubber strip pairs the saw with its track so that the line on the track is perfectly aligned to where the saw is cutting. So now we're ready, but here's a couple of tips before you start. The fully enclosed guard helps control dust. Use a vac on this saw and you'll be able to make cuts indoors rather than having to go out to the garden every 5 minutes. And you'll want to use a sacrificial piece of material to plunge into. Here we'll be using insulation foam, which is a nice, light, convenient board to take around with you. You can quickly mark a piece of laminate and use the rail rather than drawing a long cut line to follow. Rely on the high friction strips on the rail to hold the position. We can set our max depth precisely with the green numbers for using the saw on the rail. The white numbers are for any cuts made when the rail is not being used. Then, as we're cutting laminate, I'm going to pop the saw into scoring mode here, which means we'll first make a very shallow cut, just piercing the laminate to give a better finish and avoid breakout. Then we'll flip back to plunge cutting mode and complete the cut. So that was the 1+ HP plunge saw, the ideal saw for making precise, controlled cuts.